Bored at work? Been wanting to try your hand at another skill? Little to no raises or promotions in your future? Feel like you're replaceable? In the modern working world, we often find ourselves in a rut of monotony and repetition. We are hired to perform specific tasks and are expected to do them efficiently and effectively with little to no room for innovation or creativity. This can be incredibly stifling, not only for our personal growth and sanity, but also for the overall success of the company we work for. How are you expected to be productive when you're striving to stay awake all day? You're most likely in a cubicle farm or just sitting at your desk, not moving your body, sitting under fluorescent lighting. Instead of being excited and encouraged to innovate at your current company, you have to look elsewhere for more money, growth opportunities, or you may even be looking to be in a more exciting environment and willing to be paid less money. We aren't hired to think, we are hired to perform specific tasks. Having worked many years at coffee shops, and even more years being a customer, people visit a coffee shop for 5 major reasons. 1. It's simply a habit or conveniently located. 2. The personalities of the employees and the owners. 3. The atmosphere or layout, i.e. it's cozy with maybe a great view. 4. It's consistent, like Starbucks. It's so by the book that no matter where you go, a Frappuccino made in a store in California will be identical to the one made in a store in Mississippi. And 5. The coffee just tastes great. With a little conversation, we as employees can find out how many of these traits our coffee shop ticks off for each person coming in. Wouldn't it be refreshing to be able to tell your boss, hey, people love us and love being here. It'd be great to get more customers and grow our business with great tasting coffee. Or, everything is great here, but the seats are horribly uncomfortable. The seats are either wood or metal, and even my legs go numb when working on my laptop after 30 minutes. Thus making a more enjoyable and inviting experience. But every place I worked at or visited has always proclaimed how amazing their coffee is, even when it was a lie. Corporations, of course, want us to take ownership, suggest improvements, give 110%, and grow their business, all while criticizing us if we dare ask for a penny more in monetary compensation. Most leaders of industry think if you weren't a moron, you wouldn't be working for them. Instead, you would be running or managing a business yourself. So what does your opinion matter to begin with? Even though you are the one interacting with and getting direct feedback from customers, both verbally and non-verbally, there is a lot you can tell simply from body language alone. Most heads of companies are out of touch with everyday people, as seen in this example from Uline CEO, Elizabeth Uline. They posted this article last month called The Nomads. But here's a brief intro to who they are. Elizabeth's husband, Richard Ellis, is a descendant of the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company, or Schlitz Beer today. His parents are Edgar and Lucia Uline. Richard graduated from Stanford University with a BA in History. And until 1980, he worked in international sales for General Binding Corporation, a company co-founded by his father, Edgar. Elizabeth Uline was born to Robert Emerson Hallberg, an automotive company executive. In 1980, with startup funds from Richard's father, Elizabeth and Richard founded Uline, a shipping supplies company, and today continue to own the company. The company expanded rapidly and is now one of the largest U.S. privately held companies, and Forbes in 2014 estimated the company value between $700 million and $2 billion. And as of 2020, the company had around 7,000 employees. Their 3 children hold executive roles within the Uline Corporation, while Elizabeth is the company's president and Richard is the CEO. Their entire history is a perfect example of nepotism. And if you don't know what nepotism is, it is the term used when getting a job in a company due to relatives being employed. This refers to the practice of favoring relatives or friends, especially in employment, by granting them advantages or opportunities they wouldn't otherwise receive. It often involves hiring or promoting someone based on their relationship to an existing employee rather than their qualifications. As in BA in History Richard Ellis working in international sales for his dad's company. How many of us would be able to get the amazing sales job with a degree in history? Not to mention the startup funds to start Uline. Richard and Elizabeth have become billionaires as a result of the success of Uline. So, what are their views on their employees? The 99% that don't come from money. As I said, the title of this article is The Nomads, which you can find on their website. Link is in the description below. She says, job hopping used to be frowned on. Red flags on resumes. Something previous generations did their best to avoid. You stuck with the job, showed stability, and worked your way up. But boy, how times have changed. How we're supposed to work our way up when you keep putting your children in executive roles, I don't know, but let's keep reading. What makes it so easy for young workers to pull up stakes and move on? Why don't they prioritize job security and financial stability more? Maybe it's because they don't have to. At Uline, young people are resigning before their 2-year anniversary at a higher rate than we'd like. We invest precious resources recruiting, hiring, and training new hires, only for them to leave. We call them the nomads. Why do they jump around? And this is where it gets ridiculous. Free insurance. The Affordable Care Act allows young adults to stay on their parents' health plan until they age 26. The unintended consequences is that you can quit a job without losing coverage and go where the grass looks greener. In addition, parents often pay for their kids' phone bill, car insurance, and streaming services. All this from a lady from an obscenely wealthy family. The pandemic, COVID-19, turned the world on its head. Thanks to 3 rounds of stimulus checks, people didn't get off their couches to work. It became the norm to work from home and not build camaraderie at work. All hell broke loose. Let's take a break from the article and get the facts real quick. Round 1 of stimulus checks, March 2020, $1,200 per tax income filer, $500 per child. Round 2, December of 2020, 9 months later, $600 per tax filer, $600 per child. Round 3, March 2021, $1,400 per tax filer and $1,400 per child. If you actually did get all 3, you as an individual would have received a whopping total of $3,200. A life-changing sum that allows you to fuck off from March 2020 until the present day, May 2025. I mean, I can't even tell you how many jobs I've turned down over the last 4.5 years because I got enough money from government handouts to pay 2 months of my expenses. How many jobs were you able to quit, turn down, or job hop between thanks to your $3,200? I have a sneaky suspicion that Elizabeth is upset because she didn't qualify for the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP. It's worth noting that Uline is a large, privately held company with substantial resources, and the PPP was primarily designed to assist small businesses facing financial hardship due to the pandemic. While some large companies did receive the PPP loans, many chose not to apply or return the funds after public scrutiny. And Uline is not on that list of large businesses that took out loans, according to the data released by the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, and the Department of Treasury, which included company names and loan amounts. Let's read the rest of the article. Parenting. Many try to be a friend. They show a lot of affection and concentrate on the fun, but fail to provide guidelines, rules, and expectations that teach personal responsibility. The result is a generation of nomads who have been sheltered, knowing mom and dad will keep taking care of them. At some point, you got to kick them out of the nest so they can learn to fly. Employers are always on the lookout for young, talented candidates. It's hard to build a winning team when the rookies you sign think they are free agents before they even take the field. Signed, Liz Uline. I swear, people say things like this because it's a reflection of how they grew up. Who, more than these 2 perfect pillars of society, who had to lift themselves up by their own bootstraps, up the stepping stones made of family gold, could better critique the working class? Also to note, Liz Uline has been featured on Forbes' 2024 list of America's richest self-made women. You know, most of us come from broken homes. My dad left when I was a kid and never paid child support. My mom shouldn't even have had kids. I've been on my own since I was 18, and these days even the older generations are in the same place we are. They're working 2 or 3 jobs, doing DoorDash and other gig work, just trying to make it. And you got this lady thinking that our parents are there to bail us out when we're in trouble. She's never had to worry about paying health insurance. Her parents were there, took care of her. She got funding from her family to start her business. I'm 100% positive that if you interviewed her, she would say,
"Oh, I tried and failed many, many times. Life has always been a real struggle, and we had to do everything on our own."
The problem with this is that all corporations are operated almost exactly the same way and run by exactly this same kind of people. It's only about profits and not about the employees. Only the shareholders' interests matter. These are the investors, the owners, and the heads of the company. You and I don't matter. We are a renewable resource like paper. Every year there's a fresh crop of 18-year-olds graduating high school and a fresh crop of college graduates. When she talks about job hopping being a red flag, to them, it doesn't just stop there. Everything we do is a red flag. Have a family and kids? You can't be dedicated to the company. You don't have a family and kids? You're a high flight risk. You don't have any responsibilities keeping you tied to this job. Work is stifling creativity and ingenuity. You're hired only to do a handful of tasks and not allowed to go outside your box. The task, but not the person, is valued. Shore and I are self-taught programmers, along with a ton of other skills. When I was working for a billion-dollar company doing tech support, I was told not to use Python, and anything I wanted to use would need to be approved by security first. Of course, I made a couple simple tools for myself that automated things I would do manually, like moving, then renaming a file to the appropriate folder based on the file name, or a script to bulk rename files. Automated a few hundred tasks I had to do every day. And my script would even catch issues, like if a folder was missing that it was trying to move a file to. It would let me know, and I could create that folder. Of course, over time, word got around that I made these tools, and that I was good with Python and programming. After a couple of years when I turned in my 2-week notice, they asked that I share my tools with them. I already did provide copies to my coworker who I showed and explained the code to, and how it would catch errors, and they kept it hush for a while. But what did the company offer me for this? Nothing. They were very excited about it, though. During my time there, they knew I wanted to get into programming, but I was told that I had to be great where I am first, and only then could my manager recommend me to the other departments. I would have loved to have overhauled their systems. They are still using outdated, error-prone technology, losing a lot of money due to missing transactions. That last year I was there, the company offered raffles for $1,000,000 ideas. If you had a $1,000,000 idea, you had 2 chances to win $1,000. Then there were a bunch of other lesser valued gifts and gift cards. But how about no? Give us a percentage of that additional revenue every year. Our managers and supervisors are not our mentors or supporters. They are there simply just for their namesakes, to manage and supervise, an assembly line of productivity. You're hired to perform a specific task, so you better have those skills or better be able to fake that you do very well to obtain or remain in a job. There is no going outside the scope unless higher-ups stick you with other people's work without the associated pay increase. In traditionally entry-level positions, no one wants to train anyone anymore, so good luck trying to go from a boring office job to working as a barista. As long as the work is getting done, they don't care if the employees are struggling to put food on the table due to lack of pay, or having to run around frantically all day, every day, to get the work done because they are doing the work of 2 to 3 people. I've seen firsthand people getting rejected from traditionally entry-level jobs. For example, because they don't know how to use an espresso machine, which isn't rocket surgery. The higher-ups focus is rarely on just the work. We've all known the hell life becomes when our boss doesn't like us. And I know most of you have experienced how nice work is when your boss isn't around. Usually the work gets done faster, better, and everyone is less stressed while doing it. This focus on getting the job done quickly and cheaply, rather than fostering creativity and ingenuity, may work in the short term, but over time it can lead to a lack of innovation and a stagnant company culture. One of the biggest issues with this approach is that it doesn't allow for cross-functional collaboration. Employees are often siloed in their respective departments, with little opportunity to work with others outside of their immediate team. That billion-dollar company from my earlier story had the entire IT department in a building 5 miles down the road from the main campus, and we were even subsectioned off in that building. The lack of collaboration can lead to missed opportunities for new ideas and growth, and this type of work environment leads to burnout and disengagement. When employees feel like they are just cogs in a machine, they can be disenchanted with their work and begin to lose motivation, which leads to decreased productivity and increased turnover rates. At places I've worked at in the past, I could have redone the websites, helped out with marketing and social media. I could have shared the company's founder's story. I could have improved the inside of the store too, the layout, the signage. But I knew that even if I wasn't outright turned down, and I could have taken on those additional tasks and responsibilities, I would not see a penny more from my hard work, even though I would have made the company more money. And that's why Shore and I are working so hard on the Boundless Society project. It's a place where you can explore your creative side and contribute more of yourself, of your skills, of your soul to something and people who will appreciate it. Because we're stronger as a community, and together we can start to make the world a better place. Shore and I believe that what is best for us is also what is best for the environment, nature, and other living creatures. Smaller footprints, more green spaces, more than superficial human interactions, less toxic environments such as chemicals in your home, your car, and your workplace, escaping that fluorescent lighting. Share your stories in the comments below, and let's start building a community here. A community that will support, advocate, and lift each one of us up, because you are not replaceable here. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss our updates. Take care.